Alright peeps, so removing carbs from this Kawasaki ZR 1100 Zephyr. So first, before you start doing anything, you need to remove the fuel tank, of course. So this is the main carbs hose that is attached to the fuel tank. Then there's going to be another smaller hose attached to the bottom of the tap. And also what you have is this connector here, which is for the fuel gauge. So that needs to be unplugged as well, and then you can just remove the tank. So I'm going to start with removing this air filter assembly. There we go, and all of that stuff just comes out. So next you'd want to loosen up this 10mm bolt that holds the front part of the airbox in place, because you're going to have to wiggle it around a bit to remove the carbs and to reinstall them. So the bolt comes off, and also there's a spacer there. Okay, next you're going to have to remove the 4 hoses that go to each of the carburetors. Basically those are the synchronizing ports, so all of those need to be freed up. So there's 1, 2, and then on the other side there's 3 and 4. Okay, next, and this is just something what I do, is I grab a clear hose and I attach it to the bottom of each float bowl on each carburetor. Okay, and then I use this flat screwdriver, turn the draining screws just to drain the fuel from the carbs, because the last thing I want, and I do it for every one of them, this will take maybe literally 2 minutes, and that's because once the carbs are out, I don't want to be messing around with fuel spilling everywhere. So that's the reason why I do it. Okay, then you've got the spring holders, which you need to retract, and you do this for all the carbs. Then of course on the other side you've got those clamps on the intake boots. So again you need to loosen up those as well. Okay, so that is free, and you do this on all 4 carbs. Okay, this part now will be a bit of a pain in the ass, but what you need to do, I'll take my gloves off, is those Airbox boots, you can turn them slightly, and so they will release those carbs here. Okay, and now you can start wiggling those carbs out and pulling them to the back. Okay, so you can also try to wiggle the front part of the airbox and push it to the back. Another good idea is to have the bike in the first gear so it doesn't roll and fall. And then you would just wiggle those carbs until they fucking come out. Okay, that side is out. That side is out too. Okay, another important thing that you've got to do before removal of the carbs is detach the choke cable. So what you would do is you would push this bar slightly, and that will allow you to detach the cable. Okay, so you've got it detached, and you can just rest it there. A bit of a shitty design, but you've got to do that. So this comes off by removing 2 of the screws holding it together. And here we have it. Okay, and it's a good idea to take a picture of how all this was assembled. And then we've got both lines attached to the throttle grip. There we go. Okay, so one little tip before you start pulling those carbs, it's actually a great idea to heat up those Airbox boots, because they are now hard. I'm gonna use my heat gun, and I'm just gonna heat them up for like a minute, and then they're gonna be very pliable and the carbs will come out fairly easily. Alright, let's try it. And you see, this is exactly what I said. Because the boots are nice and warm, the carbs are now coming out. Okay, there we go. Alright, so disconnecting the throttle cables. So this is the front one, quite simple. Boom, comes out. And the rear one here, so you can just push on this here. Boom. And there you have it. The carbs are out.